Right, Cairns sitting at 28 degrees right now while Melbourne S pushing 32. Yeah, you heard that right. Is your area about to cop a massive shift in conditions over the next 72 hours? We've got severe weather warnings active across 3 states, Bomb S tracking multiple systems, and the models are showing some pretty significant disagreement about what S coming midweek. I am going to break down exactly when these changes hit your specific location, show you where the models are clashing, and explain why tomorrow S update is absolutely crucial. Chuck your location in the comments right now, and I'll get back to you with personalised forecasts for Tuesday. Seriously, drop your city or region below because things are evolving hour by hour. Let me give you the timing for the major centres straight up. Sydney, you are looking at patchy rain Monday evening, heaviest around 8 p.m, clearing early Tuesday morning with a top of 26. Melbourne, dry today. Change arrives Tuesday arvo around 4, temperatures dropping from 32 down to 23 by Wednesday. Brisbane, humid conditions continuing, scattered storms possible Monday night, mainly south and west of the city, top of 31 with that sticky feel. Perth, you've got clear skies locked in, 36 tomorrow, 38 Wednesday, minimal relief until the weekend. Adelaide, northerly winds bringing heat Monday and Tuesday, tops of 34 and 36. Southerly change Wednesday, dropping you back to 26. Hobart, beautiful conditions continuing, 22 today, 24 tomorrow, increasing cloud Wednesday. Darwin, we worry in the middle of the wet season. Afternoon storms likely every day this week. Tops around 32 with high humidity, making it feel closer to 40. Now here's the thing. We've got 2 distinct weather patterns playing out across the country, and they're going to affect different regions in completely different ways. Let me walk you through what S actually happening. Across southeast Queensland, and this is where it gets interesting, we're re-seeing this persistent humid air mass that S just not shifting. The pressure S sitting at 1,009 hectopascals, bit high for significant rain development, but humidity tonight is looking healthy at 87%. That gives us a chance of more rain, but I'm not getting hopes up until mid-March when the monsoon trough typically becomes more active. For you lot in Brisbane and the Gold Coast, UV had a pretty dry summer so far. Some areas reporting only 2 inches over 2 months, which is well below average. The Sunshine Coast S in a similar boat. Ipswich and the greater Brisbane area, I know you're already asking why you keep missing out on the good rain while it is bucketing down all around you. It comes down to localised circulation patterns and the way storms track. We'll know more tomorrow about whether this pattern finally breaks down. Moving south into New South Wales, Newcastle, you're under that big red line on the radar west and west-south of your area. That S indicating potential severe storm development. Currently tracking for possible activity Tuesday afternoon, maybe flowing through to Wednesday. The key factor here is the upper level trough that S approaching from the west. Access is showing this arriving Tuesday evening. European model has it 6 hours earlier. That 6-hour difference changes everything for timing. For Sydney and Wollongong, wet and cool is the story. After today, S humid conditions, the change brings relief. Wollongong specifically, you might see slightly heavier falls than Sydney due to orographic lift from the escarpment. We're re-talking potential for 30 to 50 millimetres in elevated areas, 10 to 20 closer to the coast. Coffs Harbour, Uri in an interesting position, north of the main activity but south of the Queensland moisture. Patchy rain, most likely, nothing significant until we see what develops Thursday. Now, there's one thing about this system that S got me concerned. The pressure gradient between the coastal low and the inland heat trough. If that gradient tightens up Tuesday night, we could see some pretty solid wind gusts along the ranges. 40 to 60 k's an hour, potentially higher in exposed areas. Wagga Wagga and Dubbo, you're re-looking at hot and dry conditions continuing, tops of 38 and 39 respectively over the next couple of days. No meaningful rain in your forecast until at least the weekend, and even that S uncertain at this stage. Victoria's got a different setup altogether. Melbourne, Geelong, Ballarat, you're all tracking for that Tuesday afternoon change I mentioned. But here S where the models diverge. Access has the front arriving at 1600 hours, maintaining strength as it pushes through. The GFS model shows it fragmenting as it crosses the ranges, which would mean less rain for areas east of Melbourne. We'll have a clearer picture tomorrow morning after the overnight model runs. Shepparton and Bendigo, you are looking at the change arriving later, probably Wednesday morning. Temperatures dropping from the mid-30s back to the mid-20s. Welcome relief after what's been a pretty hot stretch. Hang on, let me check that again. Yeah, Mount Carbine in far north Queensland, your absolute legends clocked up 381 millimetres for January. That is massive. Meanwhile, Humpty Doo in the Northern Territory, 178 mils since Friday night through to Sunday arvo, and it's still coming down according to the gauge readings. Actually, I should be more specific about the Northern Territory situation. Darwin and Catherine, you are in classic wet season mode. The monsoon trough is active. We're seeing daily instability, and this pattern continues through at least the end of February. Alice Springs, you're on the southern edge of all this, getting occasional storm activity, but nothing like the top end. South Australia, let's talk about your heat. Adelaide, Mount Gambier, Whyalla, Port Augusta, you're all cooking over the next 48 hours. That northerly flow ahead of the change is bringing hot, dry air straight out of Central Australia. Adelaide specifically, 34 Monday, 36 Tuesday, then boom, southerly change Wednesday drops you to 26. That's a 10-degree drop in 12 hours. The change arrives around midday Wednesday, so Tuesday night's going to be warm. Low of 22, overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. Western Australia, you're in a completely different pattern. Perth, Bunbury, Geraldton, you've got a ridge of high pressure dominating. Fremantle Doctor should provide some afternoon relief along the coast, but inland areas like Kalgoorlie are looking at tops pushing 40 degrees. Broome, you are getting some tropical moisture interaction, afternoon storms possible, but nothing severe at this stage. If you haven't already, seriously drop your location in the comments. I am going through these tomorrow and giving specific localised updates because the broad brush forecast doesn't always capture what is happening at the micro level. Tasmania, you beauty. Hobart and Launceston, you've got probably the pick of the weather this week. Mild temperatures, bit of cloud increase midweek, but nothing dramatic. Devonport on the north coast, similar story. Enjoy it while it lasts because there's a system developing in the Southern Ocean that could bring change by the weekend. Canberra, URE tracking similar to Sydney, but typically a degree or two cooler and with that inland temperature swing. 28 today, 23 tomorrow, potential frost Thursday morning if skies clear after the rain. Yeah, we could go from humid Monday to frost Thursday. That's Canberra for you. Now let us talk about what is happening in the Coral Sea because this is developing into something worth watching. There is an area of low pressure that both Access and the international models are monitoring. Currently it is just a tropical low, but sea surface temperatures are favourable for development and the steering currents are weak, which means it's going to meander for the next few days. Here is the uncertainty. If this system drifts west toward the coast, we're re-looking at significant rain for coastal Queensland from about Townsville north. If it drifts east and stays offshore, it becomes a non-event for the mainland. The models are showing both scenarios as possible right now. Tomorrow, S runs should start narrowing this down. For Townsville and Cairns specifically, keep watching this space. Cairns UV asked about whether we are going to get a big rain event late into the wet season. This could be it, but we need another 48 hours to know for sure. The timing would be late this week into the weekend. There's also something interesting happening in the Gulf, another area of disturbed weather that is worth monitoring. It is further away from impacting the mainland, but Catherine and some of the Gulf communities should keep an eye on developments. Right, back to the southeast. Karkawar in New South Wales, UV mentioned 38 degrees today with a low of 22 overnight and 20% chance of rain from 8:45 tonight. That's pretty typical of the inland heat we're seeing. The overnight minimums aren't dropping much, which makes the heat pretty relentless. Regional Victoria and New South Wales, I know summer has felt like week after week of storm predictions that just fizzle out. It's been frustrating, I get it. The pattern we're in has been conducive to isolated activity rather than widespread organised systems. This week, S setup is a bit different. We've got better dynamics, better moisture, better trigger mechanisms, not guaranteeing anything, but the ingredients are more favourable. One location that could cop something unexpected is the scenic Rim and Jimboomba area. You are right on that boundary between the coastal moisture and the inland heat. If storms fire Monday afternoon or evening, that convergence zone could produce some solid cells. Not severe at this stage, but worth watching. The fire danger across the country, let me touch on that because it is important. Northern and Central Australia, conditions are generally favourable with the wet season moisture. Southeast Australia, after the rain this week, fire danger decreases significantly. But Western Australia, you need to stay alert. Total fire ban days are possible later this week as temperatures peak and humidity drops. Check the BOM website daily for updates on fire weather warnings. Yeah, look, I know some of you are over the rain in places like southeast Queensland, while others in areas like the Mornington Peninsula are desperate for it. That is the nature of Australian weather. We go from drought to flood, sometimes in the same region within months. The medium range outlook, and this is where things get really interesting. Beyond this week, we're re-seeing signs of a potential pattern shift. The models are hinting at a more active period for Eastern Australia through late February into March. Not committing to anything specific yet, but if you are in areas that have been dry, there might be relief coming. For February to April, rainfall outlook specifically for southeast Queensland. Someone has asked about this. Early indications suggest near to above average rainfall for the region, but that is based on climate outlooks which are probabilistic. Week to week, we still need to watch the individual systems. The monsoon typically remains active through March, which is your best chance for sustained rainfall. Newcastle, about whether there will be thunder Saturday and Sunday. Current thinking is the main activity clears by Friday. Saturday and Sunday, looking mostly dry with just isolated showers possible. But again, check back tomorrow because these timings can shift. If severe storms do develop anywhere across Sydney or the eastern seaboard tomorrow, I'll be providing coverage. Keep notifications on if you want live updates. Let me clarify something about the hectopascal numbers and low pressure systems because someone else asked. The BOMS classification system for low pressure systems hasn't fundamentally changed in recent years, but the communication around warnings has evolved. A low is generally considered anything below 1008 hectopascals, but the intensity and impact depend on the pressure gradient, the system S speed, and surrounding features. It's not just about the central pressure number. Innisfail, beautiful day there today with lots of sunshine and the grass growing green like you've never seen. Classic far north Queensland between rain events. Enjoy it because more is likely on the way if that Coral Sea system develops. Actually, let me be more specific about rainfall totals where we've got better confidence. For the Sydney to Wollongong corridor, Monday night into Tuesday, we're relooking at 10 to 25 millimetres broadly, with 30 to 50 millimetres possible in elevated areas and where heavier cells develop. For Melbourne and surrounds Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, 5 to 15 millimetres most likely, locally higher in areas that catch a good cell. Southeast Queensland, the patchy nature makes this hard to pin down. Some areas might see 5 to 10 millimetres, others could get 30 if storms align properly. It's that frustrating hit and miss pattern. The one thing to remember from this forecast is that we're in a transitional period. The summer pattern is slowly breaking down. We're starting to see more organised systems, and the next few weeks should bring better rainfall opportunities for areas that have been dry. But it's going to be patchy, it's going to be inconsistent, and you need to keep checking daily updates. For those of you dealing with ants coming into the house, that is usually an indication rain is approaching. They head to higher ground when they sense the change coming. Old school weather prediction right there. Tomorrow's update is crucial because we'll have the overnight model runs, we'll have better resolution on that Coral Sea low, and we'll know whether that southeast system delivers as expected. I'll be going through all the comments and providing specific localised forecasts, so make sure you've dropped your location below. Quick recap, hot and dry across Western Australia continuing. Southeast getting rain Monday into Tuesday, bringing relief and cooler temperatures. Northern Australia, typical wet season activity. That Coral Sea system is the wild card for later this week. Models are still disagreeing on several key aspects, which is why you need to check back tomorrow. I want to be straight with you. Weather forecasting in Australia is challenging because of the massive distances, the diverse climate zones, and the way systems interact with our unique geography. What looks certain at day 5 often changes by day 3. What looks unlikely at day 3 sometimes happens at day 1. That's why these daily updates matter. Appreciate everyone watching, appreciate all the comments and support. Tomorrow video drops at the usual time and I'll have those personalised forecasts ready. Stay safe, especially if you are in areas expecting severe weather or extreme heat. Check the BOM website for official warnings and don't take risks with floodwater or severe fire weather. We'll have a better idea tomorrow about how all this plays